Hello and welcome to Irish Football Fan TV. I'm delighted to be joined by Gary Spain, fresh from Cardiff. I'm not delighted to be speaking about the particular topic we're about to be speaking about. Obviously, Wales beating Republic of Ireland 1-0. You were over the game yourself, but what was your kind of overall thoughts on this squad when you seen it? Obviously, we're missing players and stuff like that, so it's understandable the squad he's gone with or the starting 11 he's gone with. So, what were your thoughts initially?
Yeah, so, I mean, we've been very unfortunate with COVID, with injuries, with players out. So I would have agreed with the starting 11. I think it made sense. I think the changes. Uh, I think Jay Malumbi he had to start. He had a bright showing off the bench. Um, with James McLean coming in, I think that was the right decision as well. He'd come off the bench at Wembley, and I don't think Callum O'Dowda had done enough to to keep his place in the starting 11. Um, Darrell Shea, I think again, definitely he's someone actually that keeps impressing me, and probably his versatility as well. He's someone that could end up starting every game when he's available. And uh, well, we've already tried him in a few positions. So yeah, and the starting 11, it seemed fine to me. Paul, I don't know, what were your thoughts?
Yeah, well, a lot of the team I'd actually picked in the start 11 show. I think the fullbacks were the other way around, but Kevin Long came in at centre back then as well, which was a good decision I felt anyway. I think O'Shea playing left back was a bit of a surprise. I thought Matt Doherty was going to play left again because I thought he actually done well against England, but it wasn't to be. O'Shea played and he had McLean then in front of him. I think he mostly played right full last season when he was helping West Brom get up from the Championship, and I think he is definitely a player that's impressed me. He looks like he's played over 50 caps for this country. He just never looks troubled, never looks nervous, always looks like he's got time on the ball, which is for a centre back is brilliant. And obviously, well, he's playing left back. I thought there was a couple of times where he did look a little bit. It wasn't his natural position, if you get me. Like there was a couple of times where they were playing a couple of balls out to him wide, and a normal fullback would kind of take it down his chest or whatever. But I think that's just because he's not used to that kind of way of playing. And I think more so if you put him in a central role, he'll just that's his bread and butter. I think he's brilliant in there. I just think long term he will play there. But it's great that he has that versatility that he can come in and play, Nations League game against the team that are top of our group and look so comfortable as well. And then you're kind of moving into midfield. Then you had Malumbi and you had Hendrick, which I was surprised that Hendrick was playing a deeper role again, but it allowed his mate, obviously Robbie Brady, then to flourish, I suppose, because he was doing nice things in and around the park, and we'll get to him as well. But I actually had Robbie Brady playing that position in my starting 11 show as well, and I had Howrahan and Malumbi, so I wasn't far off. And then the front three was the front three that I actually wanted. I did think McLean did well when he came on against England. Kind of looking back on reflection of the player ratings, I was probably quite harsh when we actually got man of the match, the three man of the match. So I was, it was quite raw just straight after the game, and it is one of those things that you kind of see it a totally different way than when you watch it back the next day and you're like, "Do you know what, yeah, I was wrong." So I put my hands up there. I was wrong with some of the player ratings, and I felt as though they were probably a bit harsh. But as I said, it was just straight after the game. So himself and Hendrick probably didn't play as bad as I kind of made out. But then you're kind of looking at Horgan and Ida. I actually wanted them in there, so I can't really fault it too much. I thought that this was actually a game we could win, and I felt as though it was the same story as the rest of the games. As we were playing really, really well. We were starting to create chances. I felt as though, earlier on they were trying to make a stamp on Ida and trying to bully him out of the game. What did you think?
Yeah, I suppose he's still a young man, still learning his trade. I mean, in an ideal world, he probably would have been playing for the under 21s in Tala. So he'll have to, I suppose, learn and develop and learn from this experience. I mean, you're playing international football at this stage. Yeah, guys are going to be, they are going to try and bully you. They are going to use every trick in the book to knock you off your game, etc. and it is very much a learning curve. And I think Adam will be probably a different player in a year or two. This is fantastic experience for him to be playing international football. I'd love to see him get more game time at Norwich as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, but it is very difficult as well.
Yeah, I'm just kind of look. I have the stats here in front of me, and it's just like ball possession. We had 52%, they had 48% total shots. We had 11 to their 10. Shots on target 4 each, and then shots off target we had 5 to their 3, and then block shots they had 3 to 2. So like we largely had the majority of the ball. Well, I say the majority, but you know what I mean. Like we actually look like we could trouble them at times, but we just ultimately it's just this thing where we just cannot put the ball in the back of the net. You know what I mean? We had some good chances with Robbie Brady, you know, at the edge of the box, and if he just keeps it a little bit lower, you'd wonder does that, especially that first shot, does that go in? Um, you know, I thought we actually started quite well in terms of Robbie Brady's delivery. He whipped in a nice ball for Shane Duffy. I think on another day that's his bread and butter, and he heads that home, but it just wasn't to be. And that I think that's just been the difference with us at the moment. And I think we're all getting frustrated. I think the players included, is that we just can't put the ball in the net. Nothing will fall for us. Literally, nothing will fall for us. And I think I actually liked the players' interview after the game. The fact that they're coming out and you can see it's hurting them as much as it's hurting us. And that's, I suppose, as fans, that's something you want to see. But kind of, what were your thoughts on the chances and kind of, you were obviously at the match. You know, did you feel like we were the better team in the first half?
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a few things there. I don't know if I felt we were the better team, but we certainly weren't the worst team, and I don't think we deserved to lose the game. I thought it was pretty much an even game. Um, Wales got the chance, they took it. Okay, you may say they had a couple of chances late on. We were chasing the game, but um, if anyone probably deserved to shade the first half, maybe we did. I don't think we did enough to go in ahead. Um, we had the chances, as you said. I think Robbie Brady actually makes a big difference. I had it down as one of my three talking points that he should be starting, not just for his general play, which is excellent, but his set piece delivery, I think, is just that extra bit of quality. Now, it didn't transpire yesterday into goal, but it could have. Shane Duffy almost got his firm head on that free kick. The shot he had that just went over. Um, the goals, yeah, some of it is just a bit of luck. I think about it is you can go back to so many strikers, even Robbie Keane. They go through patches. Every striker goes through this when they can't score a goal, and sometimes they just need a bit of luck. They need a fluke. They need a mishit shot to creep in under the keeper's body or something like that. Uh, and we desperately need uh, just a mistake, a gift, a back pass, anything. Even if it's just a bit of luck, it goes in off the referee or something stupid, but just some bit of luck. Just need the ball to hit the back of the net, um, because yeah, I mean, I don't think Wales weren't better than us yesterday. Um, they won the game. David Brooks took the goal well. It was a bit scrappy, but fair play to them. Um, they did have Gareth Bale. Actually, I thought David Brooks had a very good game for them, and they did have Gareth Bale, who is a world class player. But I mean, our players didn't look out of place in that game. It, I said it probably on the Instagram thing, even going through the game, that it was one of these that looked like it was heading for 0-0 or something like that. Um, it was very close. It was very even, and I don't know. Unfortunately, we come out the wrong side of a close game, and it's probably the same story again from Helsinki. And suddenly, the fact that we've lost again, we haven't scored a goal, that becomes the story. And hopefully, we can get. Look, we just need to get that monkey off our backs, you know.
Yeah, I think I think what we're all kind of forgetting as well is how many players we're actually missing. And I think that's like I think I'm guilty of it too. We are missing a lot of players who will probably get into that first team. I know, off the top of my head, Aaron Connolly, Seamus Coleman, um,
James
John Egan,
McCarthy
James
and the
McCarthy,
Stevens. Yeah,
Alan Brown, all starters or thereabouts. We've been missing all them, and I thought, looking back on reflection, obviously last night was quite raw, and kind of looking back on reflection, and I did say it in my aftermatch reaction that I thought we did play well, but it's just we just cannot score. It's just so frustrating us watching us up front. When we get the ball to a certain area, we just kind of do look lost at the moment, and I don't know where that's just a lack of confidence or whatever. And it is hard, but as I said, look, the players came out afterwards and said it too that they're hurting as much as us. So it's kind of, I do hate seeing our players getting abused, and online people are giving it the big one to everyone, like Stephen Kenny. Everywhere you look, there's someone giving out about him or telling him that he should be gone. And I don't think that is the case. I mean, how many times has he actually had his first team at his disposal? Just going back to the game, obviously, yeah, with their goal. I suppose it's the same thing that keeps on happening in the games where we can see there's one little mishap in the defence, and then we get punished by it. And it's a bit, Long and Duffy get tangled amongst each other, and as the ball comes across, they go to the striker, the two of them, and then obviously the ball comes over to Gareth Bale, who heads it across. He gets up over Matt Doherty, who kind of came up on Matt Doherty's blind side, and then Brooks headed into basically an empty net. You're just wondering there, had one of them just maybe gone with the centre back. I think Phil Babbitt said after, if Shane Duffy maybe came away from Kevin Long, he could have been there to head it away. But it's just I look at the moment that one mishap leads to a goal, and that's been the story for us so far. If we had that down the other end, it just wouldn't go for, so it'd be given for a foul or something. You just know that would be the case, just because our look is out at the moment. Stephen Kenny's look is out at the moment. I do think maybe perspective is needed sometimes, and I think I'm guilty of it too. Last night I was very guilty of it, but it was like fresh, raw emotion, because we all want to see Ireland doing well, and yes, a lot of people will want results straight away. We all want to see results. We all want to see Ireland do well, but I have to say, I do see signs of encouragement. I do see signs of improvement in terms of the way we're playing and stuff like that. But ultimately, it is about putting the ball in the net, and we're just not doing it at the moment. Do I believe that's going to happen forever? No, I do think our fortunes will change soon, and I'm hoping that those fortunes do change. In the next in the next game, but. I think another talking point, or two talking points, that we have to include as well is, there was twice, Jeff Hendrick made two mistakes. Obviously, he took a shot from miles out, and then it ricocheted back to him, and he went to take a touch. Brooks got in, and he was left one-on-one. He got in because he was so quick. He was left one-on-one with Dan Randolph. He made an absolutely brilliant save. It was kind of reminding me of the save against Northern Ireland there a few years ago. Great save by him, and I thought then obviously Jack Byrne came on, and he's the first League of Ireland player to play a competitive fixture for Ireland in 35 years. Thought he done well. Thought he actually created a couple of things. Himself and James Collins, when they came on, I thought they created good things. They were positive.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And the only thing that went wrong for Jack was obviously that short pass, and then it left Jeff Hendrick, because it was coming over to Jason Knight, but it was for Jeff Hendrick, he had to take one for the team there, and he got the red card then, and it was from the short pass. I think you could actually see him on the replay saying it was a short pass. So he was the last man, even though I still think that we had enough bodies that could probably have recovered that. I don't think maybe it was a last man tackle, if that made sense, but I could see why he got the red card.
Yeah, and it was actually a red. I'm pretty sure it was a red, not a second yellow. So the rule is actually denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity, not last man. So yeah, I think the ref probably got it right. He was a long way from goal, is all I'd say. But you can't really argue with the ref's decision. And in any case, I think the ref could have produced, if he wasn't given the straight red for an clear and obvious goal scoring opportunity, he certainly could have produced a second yellow card for the foul. So, yeah, it's unfortunate. In some ways, you're thinking well, this was in at a time. Maybe he's just. It's a very hard thing to do is just let him go past you because we're without Jeff now for Wednesday night when really would be given all the players were out, but he really would be very helpful if we still had him. And obviously, if it was 0-0, you definitely do it, no question. And the obvious instinct is to do it, but you're kind of thinking 1-0 down and at a time you're chasing the game. But it's very hard just to stand and not foul the player, you know. It's, nobody wants to give a goal away.
Well, yeah, totally. I can see why he did it. Like it made total sense. But I'm just saying now it kind of makes him look a little bit like a scapegoat, even though he shouldn't be, because he wasn't the one that gave the ball away. You know, Jack did, but it was the only thing Jack done wrong in the whole time he was on. I thought other than that he was fantastic. Exactly kind of what we're needed, and I think Jack now will probably play against Bulgaria, and obviously he played well when he came on against Bulgaria that time in the friendly. It's totally different now, but I still foresee him probably playing. Um, where does he play the number 8 position? I'm not so sure, but obviously, you know, two more Shamrock Rovers players have been called up today now, Graham Burke and Aaron McAneff. So he'll be right at home with those boys, and they've already been taking pictures today out at Abbottstown. So it looks like they've settled in straight away, having Jack there already. And then, you know, who were the other players that got called up? I have them there. Jack Taylor and Troy Parrott as well. So you could probably see Troy Parrott starting against Bulgaria, and that might be the you know, the fresh blood we need. Imagine he got a goal and how much that would lift spirits.
I don't know if Troy is fit enough to start, is he? Because he wasn't fit to start on Sunday. I think it was. I know he came off the bench at half time.
No, I don't know if he's fit to start, but he's definitely like he can play. But yeah,
Yeah,
you know, maybe after getting minutes in against Iceland, he might be able to start. I don't know, but it'd be a handy acquisition because he could play obviously on the left with James out and Aaron Connolly out. So Troy would probably make sense to put in there. Or as well, you could have Jason Knight maybe play there if needs be.
yeah. I'd actually like to see Jason Knight start on Wednesday. Um, I thought he did well. I thought he did well yesterday, and I'd like to see him given a chance.
What were your thoughts on James Collins? Because he did impress me.
Yeah, I mean, he did. He actually did well, and he nearly scored. And in some ways, you're thinking the way Stephen wants to play, James Collins is not the type of player you you want to play with. I mean, he's more of a, would say, an old-fashioned centre forward, and but he did well when he came on, and I wouldn't be surprised if he got a chance on Wednesday. Maybe not start, but certainly possibly come off the bench again as well.
Yeah, but I think he could be in contention to start. But we actually have to remember that we still have Sean Maguire in the squad as well, and obviously he can play on the left or he can play up front too. But I think James Collins, I think he actually showed more than most of our strikers, maybe other than Didsey so far in terms of that central role, that he can actually offer a bit more. Right, and that's not anything bad on either. I do think he will be a brilliant player as time goes on. But I just think at the moment he hasn't played that much club football in the first team. You know, with Norwich, I think that will come. That will definitely come. You can see he's got really good talent, and I just think maybe he just needs a bit more games because obviously he had been suspended and there was all that kind of coming into it after he had a promising start to the season. You know, and it kind of feel sorry for him as well. I've seen people saying that he's not good enough and stuff like that. I imagine at 19 when you're reading that type of stuff, it's not nice to read that type of stuff. And you know, this is someone who I believe in the future will be our number 9, and I think he'll be a very good number 9.
Yeah. Oh, I think Adam is certainly the future in the position. I suppose the fact that James Collins is playing regularly in the championship and he is scoring goals, and as you say, he did well when he came off the bench yesterday. So um, I think Stephen, maybe he's the man to grab a goal on Wednesday night. And I think if Stephen doesn't start with him, I think he'll certainly see him. We'll see him at some stage. Another man who I thought did well coming off the bench in Wembley was Ronan Curtis, and we may see him on Wednesday night as well. And another player who scored a few goals this season, albeit in League One, but in a Pompey side that are doing really well in League One and challenging for automatic promotion.
Well, he's actually looked good every time he's came on against England, and he looked like he had something about him, or he had a point to prove to Stephen Kenny that he could be in the squad. He had that header then, I think it was against Finland. The keeper made a brilliant save. So, yeah, I think he would not actually be a bad choice on the left hand side because that's where he plays for Portsmouth, and I think he could actually be a good acquisition on that left hand side. And you may see a totally different side. I think to what we're used to. I think you could see a lot of different players, and I could definitely see Jack Burns starting. I could see Ronan Curtis starting on the left. I could see Jason Knight starting in midfield. There's so many, you know, different situations. In a way, it's kind of good because you can kind of see who's able to make the step up if needs be. So I think in that case, it's good. And Stephen Kenny's hand has been forced here. I don't think you can be saying, "Oh yeah, well, he's calling up all these players and leaving out all these." All our other players are suspended and injured, or in Didzy's case, just retired. So it's just one of them. I think we just have to deal with what we have. I still think we're good enough to beat Bulgaria. I would love to see us beat Bulgaria. But yeah, as you mentioned, I was surprised that Curtis, after coming on and doing well, didn't get a run last night.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting him maybe to come on instead of James Collins, but well, what do I know? Because James Collins came on and very nearly scored and did well. So um, I think we may well see both of them on Wednesday night.
Hopefully. But just that's been the final word, I suppose. On the we actually didn't spend too much time talking about the Welsh game itself because it's just another one of those games. It feels like it's gotten away from us again, and I just think maybe on another day we get a win against them, and it would have been the same against Finland. But the thing is, we're not being outplayed by these teams. Like these teams are supposed to be superior to us, and we've gone out and done well against them. But it is that thing. Like I imagine Georgia fans probably feel the same way when they play us, and they play well, but they don't get a result. So we need to start winning to knock any of that negativity away. And I think once we get a couple of goals and a couple of wins, I think the fans will start coming on side again, and that's what I think everybody needs, just a lift, because it's been such a horrendous year, and the football hasn't helped, and COVID hasn't helped as well. It hasn't helped the squad or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real pity we don't have fans on Wednesday night. It would certainly lift the team and give them a real boost. Yeah, we're definitely long overdue. Due a bit of luck. Hopefully, we'll get the win on Wednesday night. Certainly, we just must avoid defeat. I just do not want to even think about getting relegated and ending up down in League C of the Nations League. But it would be really great to get a goal and to get a win.
Yeah, well, for anyone who's joined us, don't forget to drop a like on the video, and if you're new to the channel or returning, please drop a subscribe as well. Huge thanks to Gary for joining me, and we'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching, guys.